You're listening to episode 133 of the Redefine the Hustle podcast. Welcome, and thanks for tuning into episode 133, Redefining Building and Engaging Your Audience. I'm your host, Suze, a growth mindset and productivity coach for music industry professionals, and the founder of the Rockstar Advocate. Before we get into things, be sure to hit that subscribe button below so you never miss new content that we post here on our YouTube channel. We're getting ready to wrap up season 5 of this podcast with a final episode dropping next week. And after I went over in last week's episode, the biggest thing that I redefined for myself, which is how to pivot when shit hits the fan. It's only right that I now dig into the one system in my business that allowed me to grow and sustain a full-time career amidst unexpected loss, chronic illness, countless moves, fires, you name it. Hands down has been my system for building and engaging my network. Now, what do I mean by systems? Well, I mean a structured way of doing things, an SOP, a standard operating procedure, to streamline my tasks in a uniform way so that I spend less time thinking and guessing and more time executing. Now, I've got systems for managing my finances, maintaining my home and workstation, onboarding my clients, you name it, I've got a system for it. Now, I don't always carry out these systems to a T or maintain them all regularly, but when shit hits the fan, I can lean on them and get myself back on track a whole lot faster. But as I said, none of these systems have served me and my business more than my system for building and engaging my network and audience. Having a system in place to regularly network, pitch, and connect has allowed me to refocus and take action that moves the needle in spite of everything else around me feeling disjointed or unclear. I can always go back to my trusted SOP for creating content in a pinch, for sending out emails to a contact that I'm hoping to connect with further, or convert followers into customers. And much like my framework for redefining the way I pivot, this system is made up of a 3-part framework. There's just something about 3 that makes it feel so satisfying, right? Now, I'm going to share it with you today, but first, if you're chomping at the bit thinking, I'd give anything to not stress out about creating content or building my network, but I immediately feel overwhelmed and at a loss of what to say, well, I want to let you know that I've decided to create a very limited time and limited space offer for 10 people between now and February 15th who want to work one-on-one with me to create their very own custom network engagement and growth system. For those of you who felt that my VIP day was a bit too intense for you at this point in your career, which is fine, it's not made for everyone. If you don't need 3 to 4 systems built for your business right now so that you can get to scaling, I've created a limited VIP Lite offer, Enraged to Engaged, a 3-hour virtual VIP day with yours truly to go from frozen and frustrated to refreshed and relaxed when growing your network. Now, during our 3 hours together, I'll dive deeper into today's 3-part framework that I'm about to go over and create a custom system for you to implement regularly and easily so you can kiss that overwhelm goodbye. Our work together is not only designed to save you time and take the guesswork out of posting, but will also reframe your relationship with creating content and being the face of your brand. Find your own way to engage your people so that you can communicate in a way that feels natural to you. Most importantly, we give you your time back so that you spend less of it on what to post and what to pitch and spend more of that time doing what you love, which is likely spending time with loved ones and creating music. And who doesn't want that? I'm offering this at an introductory price of $475 between now and November 30th. And price will go up significantly, think double, once December 1st hits. And once those 10 spots are filled, they're gone. So if you'd like to learn more, a link to all of the info is in the show notes below this video. You can also email me at Suz, S-U-Z, at therockstaradvocate.com or DM me on Instagram at rockstaradvo. Payment can be broken up into 2 installments, but you've got to make that first payment before December 1st to get it at this price. And I'm about to give you a behind the scenes look at what you can expect during our half day together. So let's dig into this framework, shall we? Part 1 of my trusty system for engaging and growing my audience and network is clarity. Shocking, I know. If you followed me for any amount of time, you'd likely have heard me talk about the importance of clarity. In this case, clarity around your brand message and values is what we're looking for here. But beyond your messaging, it's even more important to have clarity around your relationship with networking and social media in general. What's your intention with these tools? Why is building your network important for you and your business? Yes, on the surface, it's the same for all of us. Make more money and have more of an impact. But dig a little deeper. What are you really trying to accomplish? And what holds you back from connecting with the people you want to connect with? Why do you have resistance to posting online? Why does it frazzle you or frustrate you? And why does it feel like a burden? Deep down, we all have different answers for these questions. We all struggle with different thoughts and fears. Tapping into what makes you light up and determining what you do love about connecting with others and how to make that happen online and through emails is what's going to make all the difference. Think to yourself, what if I stopped resisting engaging with others online? What are the terms of the relationship that I want to have with social media, and how can it best fit into my natural tendencies for how I prefer to communicate? Try not to get too cynical here. Stay open to what's possible. For me, it was giving myself permission to have one space on the interwebs to communicate. Now, I prefer intimacy and deeper conversation, and I found that Instagram allowed me to express myself in ways that came easier to me than on other platforms. I gave up Facebook and Twitter, and don't even get me started on TikTok and Snapchat. But that's me. Plenty of others have knocked it out of the park on those other platforms. It's just not for me. Eventually, after I became comfortable with video, I wanted to do more long-form content. So hello YouTube. But that came later. It was the clarity of knowing what I wanted and how I wanted to communicate that allowed me to focus down and see real growth and conversion from social media. The next piece of this puzzle is connection. Yeah, duh. But not just who are you connecting with. Again, it goes deeper than getting clear on who your ideal audience is. How are you connecting with them? What's your communication style? How do you prefer to interact with people? What's the strongest piece of your message? And how do you flex that with a fan versus a colleague versus an industry expert that you're aiming to get attention from? When I got clear not only on who I was looking to connect with, but how I was going to approach pitching, marketing, or simply responding to comments, it took so much guesswork out of it. I could easily send a pitch to be on a podcast when I understood my angle and how I wanted to present myself. Templates are great, and I'm happy to provide them for clients, but you've got to know what to write in the blank spaces. Tone, attitude, whatever you want to call it, when you know how you want to approach your requests or start conversations, the only decision left to make is to hit send. And the last part of this framework is consistency. And this is what trips most people up, including myself for many years. We all know it's so important to stay consistent. Put out consistent content. Stay consistent in your messaging. Have consistent colors and fonts and so on. We get it. Consistency. It's key, right? But here's where my redefined approach to pivoting comes in. Sometimes life doesn't give a rat's ass about your plans to stay consistent. Now, if you missed last week's episode, head on over to episode 132 after this and be sure to learn how you can easily pivot and get back to what you were doing when life throws unexpected things your way. Sometimes you can't batch all of your content and schedule it ahead of time. Sometimes you fall off course and you don't get your newsletter out or you don't go live for your weekly stream. For me, it's more important to have a system that's there for you that you can lean on when you need it, not something that is there to run your life and judge you when life's knocked you on your ass. When life gets crazy for me, I own it and spend less time worrying about how I get back into the swing of things and more time looking at my SOP and choosing a simple go-to piece of content for myself to post to re-engage my audience and not create a ton more work for me to worry about. One of the biggest time wasters, besides scrolling and not engaging on social media, is spending time on decisions that we don't have to keep remaking. You don't need to constantly decide what to post. You just need to decide once, and then it shall be. Don't overthink it. Think about it once. Decide. Do it. Come back and do it again. And only think about it again if you notice you're not getting any results from your efforts. Having a system where most of the decisions have already been made for you allows you to simply reference it and then take action. So there you have it. Clarity, connection, consistency. But like I said, it's not just about identifying your message, audience, and posting schedule. It's about going deeper and really deciding how this all works for you. Redefine your relationship with what it means to connect with people. Don't simply follow somebody else's formula if it doesn't feel natural to you. The more you can be you and lean into everything that makes you you, the sooner you're going to attract the right people, the right fans, the right collaborators, the right investors, you name it. Now, it doesn't mean it's not hard work, but it does mean that it isn't torture or a necessary evil. It's a tool for greater impact. So what do you say? Are you ready to begin implementing this 3-part framework? Let me know in the comments below what your biggest takeaway was from today's episode. And be sure to hit that subscribe button while you're at it. I thank you for tuning in, and I hope you found today's episode helpful. If you gained anything from today's episode, I ask that you share it with somebody who could benefit from these tips as well. And if you'd like one of those 10 spots that I have available for my Enraged to Engaged mini VIP day, reach out to me and let me know. You can also click the link below in the show notes of this YouTube video to find all of the details, plus how to sign up. You'll also find links to register for Planchella, my free 3-day planning event, December 27th to the 29th, and a link to the shop, where we just dropped a brand new line of merch, including mugs and t-shirts that rep the podcast and the Redefine the Hustle lifestyle. Have a wonderful rest of your week and a great start to your holiday season. I'll be back next week with the final episode of Season 5 and a very special guest. You won't want to miss it, so make sure that those notifications are turned on. That's all for now. See you next week. Take care.